home of Brás Museum. Its earliest owner is our theme, his early death and work-filled passion, from a lowly birth to a man of fashion. Our actors recount, they set the scene, from the turn of the century to 1914.
But there's certain conjecture, a few certain facts. Our task is to keep the truth on track. How Miguel Diaz, a charcoal seller, began life as a cottage dweller.
He was born in Campina, a humble start, but his fortune lay with a mule and cart.
Transporting charcoal from Brás to selling faro strictly cash. Salt fish from faro transported back along the way of a hilly track.
In Brás, the fish sold well. Miguel had learned to buy and sell. Good with numbers, he worked out what being a merchant was all about.
Additionally, he could charge a fee for transporting goods from A to B. Business was good.
What else?
He thought.
Can be sold for profit, then cheaply bought?
Whilst pondering this business scheme, he needed a wife to join his team.
He found himself a country lass, sweet and gentle, went to mass. Not long after, he proposed.
They'd be so happy, she supposed.
Adoro meu caro Miguel.
Oh, the bride enchanted by his spell.
Quero me casar contigo, Miguel.
His wife she committed very well.
E sempre seremos fiéis, Miguel.
The resounding chime of a wedding bell.
Caro Miguel, cuidar de ti e tu cuidarás de mim.
Tu cuidarás de mim, é sério, mas eu cuidarei do negócio.
Cada dia eu rezarei por nós e tão felizes ficaremos.
Reza, mas por uma boa colheita, assim ficarás mais satisfeita.
Não, para mim a família é tudo.
Ainda bem, vamos para o quarto?
Now, with a partner there to run his home, his business brain began to roam. So far, the story completely true, and this is what he decided to do.
A new commodity, all the talk, useful objects made from cork. Bottle stoppers, fishing floats, fixed to nets on fishing boats.
Cork tree bark was in demand and relatively close at hand.
Trundling north with his mule and cart, this first journey was the start of an empire based on moving bark from early morning till after dark.
More carts were needed and more mules, a team of workers and a set of rules.
A foreman was put in charge of them all.
I arranged with the farmers when we would call to collect the bark from the northern hills, take it to factories and cork mills, to be turned into, processed and turned into objects of use. My boss had found his golden goose. The work was hard, the jobs were few, but pleased with employment and wages too.
I can tell you for certain, I'm overjoyed to find at last that I'm employed. I've money to share with my family, thanks to Miguel and the cork tree.
The name of the foreman and workers unknown.
But they must have had beliefs of their own. Some politically right, others left-wing. Some for the Republic and some for the King. The country divided on issues of wealth, equality, education, and matters of health.
But for Miguel, a personal goal to build on his business now on a roll.
Business is brisk, but it has to be made. Cork to transport and then to trade.
The charcoal business, he didn't go off it. He'd move anything where there was a profit.
Yes, so much so that his workers said
It was
a fortune before he said.
Epá, Miguel é um homem esperto. Ele é que lucra dinheiro, está certo.
Pois, ele torna-se rico e nós estamos pobres. Ele tem o dinheiro e nós temos as dores.
A clever man when it comes to a deal. A logical brain and nerves made of steel. No one can say that he's a cheat, but whatever he does works out a treat. Counting his money and making new deals, buying more mules and more sets of wheels.
More mules and carts, more workers too. Now there's scores with work to do. I'm proud that I was one of the first. So proud, in fact, I could burst. Miguel runs the business, he's an entrepreneur. We're all better off than ever we were.
I believe as a foreman my pay is too low, while my efforts are helping his business to grow. All over the country workers protest. For their children and their wives, they just want the best. Textile workers were going on strike. Better pay packets, that's what they'd like. Even in Sills where they process the cork, boycotting the factories is all of the talk. I went into Farrow to demonstrate, replace the king with a republican state. No wonder I'm angry, I deserve better pay. The strains of these efforts are turning me grey. Loading and stacking, unloading the carts, mending and fixing and repairing old parts. In charge of the workmen is a job to endure. Feeding the mules and mucking out the manure.
Oh, there goes the foreman, just hear him complain. He wishes he'd been born with Miguel's business brain. I never protest. He says I'm dumb, for the rich have the workers under their thumb. His views are creating a political divide, but for the work, I'm grateful. I'm on Miguel's side.
At home for Miguel, his family grew.
His wife adored him through and through.
Adoro meu caro Miguel.
Oh, in the bedroom they would gel.
E cada noite na cama, Miguel.
Oh, he was virile, we can tell.
E mais que bebê para nós, Miguel.
The family numbers began to swell.
Enquanto estamos a trabalhar, o Sr. Miguel está a sonhar.
Dinheiro no bolso, crianças na cama. O nosso Miguel é um homem de fama.
Siring children is easily done, but for my boss it is far more fun. Climaxing at the thought of cash and his growing business around San Brás.
Oh, envy is a terrible sin. It seems to have got the better of him. Feeling hard done by, there's no certain proof that Miguel was greedy or even aloof.
Already rich, he bought up more land with plans to build a house so grand. Still young and active, he schemed ahead.
He'll be worth a fortune before he's dead.
The years went by, he acquired great wealth.
While his wife declined with failing health, she slowly and quietly passed away. Her children wept on the funeral day.
The terrible loss of a loving mother.
But Miguel was looking for another.
And there he goes to find a new bride, despite his first wife had only just died. He'd be looking for someone with riches and breeding. His pretensions and egos always need feeding.
He found himself a lady of class, someone worth more than a country lass.
A lady that had a dowry to bring, in part exchange for a wedding ring. Now, older and fatter with children in tow. Finding a bride might have been touch and go, but being a rich man with land of his own and business assets already well known, Miguel quickly found this girl of good birth.
He already knew what she was worth.
Que bonito que tu és, Miguel.
Pretty and wealthy, she suited him well.
Tão bem vestido, lindo Miguel.
Sincerely loved him, he could tell.
Miguel, eu adoro Miguel.
Head over heels in love she fell.
Mas tenho medo. O pai é tirano. Na nossa família, ele é soberano. E depois há a minha irmã mais idosa, ainda solteira e ainda esperançosa. O pai preferia levá-la à igreja, não quer que ela morra de inveja.
Oh, did you hear the flat note of that wedding song? Oh, I can tell you for certain the wedding's not on. The lady that comes from a rich family said that her father would never agree. This is what happened. Our actors will tell you why Miguel changed his passion to someone new. When he decided to talk to her father, he immediately said that he would rather...
Miguel, consider my older daughter. If you want the dowry, I think you alter. For this older sister, left on the shelf, though less of a beauty, has equal wealth. I cannot let the younger girl go until this one is taken in tow.
Miguel took stock of the situation, then made his move without hesitation, adopting a pose down on one knee. He made his proposal.
Please marry me.
Thinking she'd be a spinster for life. Oh, she agreed in an instant she'd be his wife.
Sobbing and crying, the jilted ex-bride
Mas eu quero Miguel.
was all she could sigh.
Mas eu quero casar-me, eu quero Miguel. Tanta força, inteligência e sempre viril. Eu não quero ficar para sempre em casa com um pai severo e uma mãe rigorosa. Eu quero festejar, eu quero divertir-me. Eu quero Miguel. Eu não quero este mal-estar.
Was Miguel's heart cold? Was he ruled by his head?
Well, certainly, that's what some people said. Such a strange way to decide who to wed.
He'll be worth a fortune before he's dead.
Para o dinheiro, o Miguel tem jeito, mas tem uma pedra dentro do peito.
Ele quer casar-se, mas não por amor. Para o Miguel, só as patacas têm fulgor.
Meanwhile, the sister, now joyful and sunny,
became a rich source of more Miguel money.
happily married to a man she adored.
She could not know what the future had stored.
Ai, meu esposo, meu caro Miguel.
Oh, another woman whose heart was swell.
Vamos casar-nos, querido Miguel.
Another woman under his spell.
Vou dar-te tudo, Miguel.
Her bulging dowry suited him well.
A strange way to marry, that I agree. It's nothing to do with you or me. It's none of your business, that's what I say. Be glad you're a foreman with regular pay.
Did you know Miguel's building a home to impress? The biggest, the grandest. He intends nothing less. I won't say I'm jealous, but it's hard not to be. I look at his wealth and I wish it was me.
Uma nova casa ele quer construir. O dinheiro da mulher vai fluir.
Uma casa grande, imponente e com um portal grande na frente. Oh.
Terraces, porches, beautiful tiles, and high wooden ceilings in up-to-date styles.
The house, hardly altered, is now the museum. Conceived and completed, it was Miguel's dream.
There goes my boss, dressed in velvet and lace, swanking and prancing all over the place.
One fact he's left out that's in Miguel's favour. He rewarded his servants for all of their labours. His maids, his house staff, his gardeners, his grooms, they were all accommodated in nice comfy rooms.
I have stables, gardens that make me a gent, and for my children's future that's money well spent. And for my personal use I have a carriage and a horse.
A mule and a cart are beneath him, of course.
Meanwhile, suspicions were steadily growing as Miguel's wealth began overflowing. One man, Miguel's partner, wrote down his view in a poem that may or may not be quite true. Well, questions probably went round Brás. How had Miguel acquired so much cash?
A man of such fortune has obviously cheated. One way or another, he must be defeated.
Ouçam, meninos, aquilo que eu digo. Não pode ser certo homem tão rico.
Mas pode ser honesto. Aliás, o nosso Miguel tornou-se homem tão nobre e bastante belo.
However, indoors things began to go wrong, as more sons and daughters soon came along. Two groups of children with two different mothers, sisters at war, and rows between brothers. The first family of children, already grown, their view of stepmother, let it be known, she couldn't cope when they failed to obey. She preferred to have them out of the way.
With so many problems, Miguel suffered from strain, though his business had gained considerable fame.
So many jobs created by me. My workers get wages, they don't work for free. My business partner says I tell lies. He claims he grows poorer while my profits rise. All these problems go round in my head.
He had no way of knowing that soon he'd be dead.
Dealing with wages, sorting out tax, stressed out and anxious, he went off to relax.
He drove in his carriage to a spa in Fusetta. The fresh spring waters made him feel better. Fit, clean and healthy, problems put to one side,
he returned back home and immediately died.
Had he been poisoned?
Oh, gossip was rife.
Had one of his enemies taken his life? How could it happen in such a short time?
The Grim Reaper had felled him whilst in his prime. Fingers were pointed.
There's been foul play. It was you that wanted him out of the way.
It wasn't him. I think it was you.
You don't know what happened. What did she do? Did she poison the water in the spa bath?
She didn't do it. You're having a laugh.
Did you slip in some nightshade while he was soaking?
I didn't do that. Tell me you're joking.
Did someone concoct a deadly potion, then tell Miguel it was a spa bath lotion? Ah, you as his foreman? You loaded him the most? You said you get even? I heard you boast.
Whatever I said, I didn't mean. I simply just had to let off steam. Now, don't you accuse me of this murderous act.
You said you did freedom, and that's a fact.
Well, you can't accuse me. You know very well. I always spoke up on the side of Miguel. So many suspects. No sign of force. Might have been murder or a natural cause.
Não fui eu. Eu estou inocente. Eu penso que deve ser acidente. Não pode matar sem deixar rastro.
Coitado do nosso Miguel. Seu último passo foi ele não pode gozar a fortuna e longe do alcance da mulher chorosa. Ai, ai.
Maybe the poor man took his own life. He'd endured so much gossip, stresses and strife.
If he did, then that would explain why there's no grave that bears his name. Rumours, suspicions, but nothing was proved.
Oh, while his grief-stricken wife, she had to be soothed.
Miguel! Miguel! Miguel!
Yesterday he was fit and well.
Não posso crer que estejas morto, Miguel!
What really happened, we can't tell.
Vou rezar por ti, Miguel.
Unhappy thought she could not quell.
There's a brief last chapter to this tale, when Miguel's second wife began to fail. Her father saw that she couldn't cope and suggested a plan that gave her hope.
I know that you're sad that your husband is dead, but now you must look to the future ahead. All those children getting cross with each other, and the older ones, well, they don't need a mother. The children born of Miguel's first wife are the ones who are causing all this strife. The oldest boy, well, he's almost a man. Move him and his siblings as soon as you can. You've plenty of money to make them a home, a brand new house of their very own. Well, there's a plot of land across the street. There's three nearby, but not under your feet.
Agreeing wholeheartedly, she knew it was right.
They'd be out of the way, but not out of your sight.
And so it was that it came to pass that the children of the country lass occupied a new abode, still seen today just over the road.
Stained glass windows and beautiful rooms, a staff of gardeners, maids and grooms.
In the museum building, Miguel's second wife enjoyed an equally splendid life.
She and her offspring lived very well.
All due to the fortune left by Miguel.